essentially, Vroom's expectancy theory laid out this formula that, we have to think that the probability of our effort contributing to performance is likely to happen. If we put in effort, is it likely to achieve results? First and foremost. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you tried as hard as you can and you're never going to win. You're never going to achieve. It's a completely impossible goal. So, first and foremost, effort needs to lead to performance. Then our performance needs to lead to some outcome. We have this expectancy that this outcome, it could just be a feeling of accomplishment or satisfaction in having achieved it, but it could also be a bonus or praise. It doesn't always have to be a bonus, just a praise. Well done.
Thank you.
Acknowledgement. Thank you. Something
balancing.
Yeah. So we have this expectation that our performance will lead to some outcome, and then we have to value that outcome. Do we value the thank you or the thumbs up, or do we want the bonus? So if we don't see that outcome as valuable to us, then it's not going to affect our overall motivation in this regard. And so the formula for this one looks something like E leads to P times P leads to O times, is it times balance? I think it's just times balance.
We need to write this down.
Equals motivation. It's in your textbook, page 423. At the top of the page. So you know how we looked at that formula, ability plus motivation plus environment leads to performance. Well, this is just a similar sort of thing, but looking at slightly different. Our expectancy that our effort will lead to performance times the expectancy that a performance will lead to an outcome times the value we place on that outcome is going to lead to motivation. Yeah? So this is about with thinking about this, can you put yourself in this situation, at work or another scenario?
How much do we expect to go vroom vroom, give it our all? I know that was a really bad.
Yeah. Like, okay, if you thought that no matter what you did, you were going to fail that assignment that I gave you last week. Yep. Then what part of the equation is missing?
See, it's selfless. Prophecy, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so that would be this part is missing. Okay, your effort leads to performance. If you thought, no matter how hard I try, I'm not going to pass that assignment. Okay, so if that expectancy fails, then your motivation drops away, doesn't it? Are you going to bother? No. Okay, so let's say you do believe that if you put in some effort, it will lead to some performance. But you don't care what result you get, as long as it's over 50%. Why will I put in extra effort to get 90% if all I need to do is get 50% to pass?
Absolutely. It sounds like the outdoor reapers.
Yeah. So this is thinking about the probability that you performing will lead to an outcome, and the outcome is something that you value.
But it also reflects your own self.
Yeah. Do you care if you get the A plus, or do you just need to get the C and get through it? So the value you place on that outcome becomes important there as well. Okay. So essentially, this is a framework that you can use as a manager to think, what's missing in this equation for a particular staff member if they're showing a lack of motivation. Yeah. And think about it in terms of designing jobs. We want to design jobs that are inherently have some sort of outcome or reward built into them so that we can actually be inherently reinforced for achieving those jobs. And that we're rewarding people with things they value.
I think also probably really important for employers to put this to the employees when they first start, so they know what's expected of them.
Yeah. I mean, having clear expectations is really important, and then linking those expectations with outcomes. So this is why we get into performance reviews, okay? Because that's a framework for us to set goals, to measure achievement towards goals, and to link some reward or recognition to that potentially. Maybe or maybe not, depending on how you go. Okay, so that's Vroom's, it's the basis for rewards management in an organisation. Equity theory is another one that is of importance when it comes to how we think about it. And you'll be, if you've got more than one kid, you'll probably be quite familiar with this one. Equity theory is about, you know, how much effort are we putting in versus how much effort are other people putting in terms of what sort of recognition and reward we're getting out of it. Are we getting, and it's not about getting the same reward, like not getting paid the same, but getting it paid equitably for what we're doing. It needs to be perceived as fair. Remember how we talked about perceptions and business communication and how important they are? Well, perception plays a big role in equity theory. Have a look at activity 3 really quickly.
Oh, I've got fish processing plant.
Yeah. Bob's working for Scully.
Yeah.
And he's worked there for 5 years. But he was talking to Jim the other day and discovered that Jim's on a higher hourly rate than him.
Okay. That's not cool. This happened to me once.
This happened to you once.
Yeah.
How was your perception of equity in this situation?
Wow.
Yeah.
I was pretty,
Yeah,
because I was running the office and, and they were sitting in an office in Christchurch, a couple of dudes doing the same type, you know, because it was structured.
Yeah.
With different qualifications though, because I've never had
No, they were
the
at the same level as me, and it really, but they were males and I was females, and so it was sort of like, yeah, well then obviously the thing is you're not meant to, well,
Discuss it,
yeah, you're not meant to disclose what, and I just had to ask, and they, when it said to me, I was just like, whoa, they're on like
This
10
is the
15
thing.
grand, 10 or 15 grand more than me.
That's not fair.
And I was running a whole office, doing everything.
Yeah, no, that's wrong.
And they were in Christchurch, so just doing,
the same, but less.
well, no, they're actually doing less.
Less,
Yeah. Because I had more responsibility.
Did you say they had different qualifications there?
No.
No,
Yeah, no,
we
it
were all
was something
we're all
like that,
studying financial services insurance brokering diploma.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're all,
justification.
yeah.
Except for gender.
Yeah.
So that.
So then that sort of peeved me off, so I went and worked for the opposition.
Exactly. So you know, people lose good employees because of these issues of equity, you know, and if they're not prepared to resolve them when it's brought to their attention. I mean, we've got a real culture in New Zealand of not discussing what we get paid, which is to our disadvantage when it comes to these issues.
Because of the stigma around gender pay.
Yeah. So and I mean,
the employment contract though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was back in when
I'm
Labor.
finding this till I see what he's doing.
When Labor was in government last time, they did that whole gender pay employment equity review. I ran it here for the Polytech. I was the project manager for that, and we did the whole, you know, gender equity review of pay. But you know, that was a framework that they put in place. They gave us all the tools to do that, to actually do an analysis, and they were rolling it out across all public sector organisations. And then national payment and basically stamped down and ended it. So, so that was the end of that project.
Who closed the gap at all?
I don't know if it, well basically each organisation came up with action plans of things that they were going to do in order to rectify any anomalies they might have found. And you know, some of them, like ours weren't huge, but in other organisations that may have been more so. I don't know whether or not those ever got action, or the organisations that did, and I think it was the DHBs that did it first actually, but anyway, then the education sector. But yeah, they were wanting to roll it out across the private sector as well, but obviously people aren't necessarily keen. But equity theory is not just about gender equity, it's, you know, could happen between Bob and Jim, and you know, of course Bob is going to feel like it's unfair, isn't he? But why might this have happened? You've already raised the point that maybe Jim has got higher qualifications, So that is appropriate when you're appointing people on a salary scale, that you're appointing them on the basis of their
Or
experience and
even
their
he might have a
qualifications.
different one, like work and safety, whereas the other one doesn't, like even different qualifications apply.
Mhm. Absolutely. So he could have had more qualifications, he could have more skills. There could also have been changes to market rates in that job in the meantime.
Yeah.
Okay, so it means that people in the similar jobs in the same industry are actually getting paid more, and so in order to recruit somebody, they actually had to pay more. Now, if that's the situation,
Should
then they
Bob
should be
get a pay
putting
rise?
Bob up
Yeah.
higher anyway, in order to reflect that, and Bob would be completely legitimate in asking for that sort of increase. Okay, so that's the equity theory. What about under expectancy theory? Where is it going to hit in terms of expectancy
Outcomes.
outcomes? Yeah.
You
So
wouldn't be putting
it's-
effort, would you, if you're a boss?
Yeah.
No, that.
It's
I've got
affecting
that,
our-
put a less effort.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As
it's
performance.
affecting our PO expectancy, basically, that our performance is going to lead to an outcome, because, you know, in this case, the loyalty and the tenure that
And
Bob
fixed
is shown and
Maslow's
staying,
hierarchy too.
and Maslow's hierarchy, yeah. The tenure, you know, staying for a long time, you see that as an input, right?
Yeah.
And that you
And
put,
value.
and
like you
that
should
needs
value
to
them.
receive an outcome or that is of value. So yeah, the probability that good performance, in this case loyalty and tenure, will lead to the desired outcome, i.e. pay. So that could affect, is going to affect his motivation in that respect. If you look at that formula. Make sense? All good with Vroom's expectancy theory and our equity theory? We can also use goal setting and attainment. This is page 425. And this is, you know, this is one of the fundamental bases of, performance management, where we set goals at the start and then we measure achievement towards those goals at various times, maybe throughout the year. But just making sure that goals are always SMART goals. I'm sure you've heard
So
that.
very similar to what we've just done for our assessment.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. So our SMART goals. So you know how in our planning we had SMART strategic goals, tactical goals, and operational goals.
Yeah.
They can filter down into individual performance goals and an individual performance.
KPI.
Yeah, basically your KPI, your key performance indicator, something that's measurable for each staff member. So goal setting and attainment, you know, actually making those goals SMART, gives somebody something to work for, so long as we bear in mind those expectancy theory factors. You know, the goals have to be achievable. Otherwise, we're not going to be motivated to work towards them, and relevant and all of that. So yeah, so if you are in a situation where you're setting sort of annual goals or KPIs for staff members, making sure that how you write them is really important. Because, you know, if they're not measurable, if they're not specific, then that's not going to act as a motivator. And what's one of the main problems with goal setting?
Setting a time or deadline.
Yep, setting a timeline is important.
Are they achievable?
Being able
Are
to
they
achieve
achievable?
it,
They
yeah.
have to be achievable. But also achievable, but they also, and you notice in this one, they've included challenging. Because the problem with goals is what we often do is go, right, we've achieved that, I don't need to do anything more. So we're not actually going 110%, we're not actually doing what we're actually fully capable of, we're meeting the bare minimum of the goal and nothing beyond. So that is a real problem with goal, like just using goal setting as a motivational tool, is that that doesn't motivate us to go above and beyond that goal. Yeah. And so actually might see performance drop. We've just achieved that goal, great, that's it. Let's not worry about anything any further. Okay. And the other thing with goals is you get game playing. Okay. So they say, for example, you know, they say, oh, okay, student success is really important. We're aiming for 85% completion rates. It's easy, I'll just pass all of you. Tick, tick, tick. Yeah? That's, people start to play games, they start to engage in unethical behaviour in order to achieve goals. Okay, so you have to have some control mechanism in place for that. Fortunately, they do. They have moderation. They check my market. But if you build these things into personal performance, plans and goals for individuals, then you have to expect that those people are going to find ways to achieve those goals. So you need to make sure you're monitoring that as well.
Well then, yeah, so would you put guidelines in your goals? Like guidelines that they obviously have to either stay in or can't go out of?
Yeah, and you could say within standard operating procedures or within the policy and procedure of the organisation, but that's implied when you sign up to an
Yeah,
organisation.
I would think so too, but if you're just saying that,
But you need to
some
decide.
people might not get it.
Yeah. So it does help us to focus attention on what's important, but it's not necessarily going to be the overall motivator for everybody. We need to take into lots of other factors. How are we going? Questions?
No.
Yeah, have I overloaded your brains yet?
Yep.
Yeah, good. Right, let's go for behavioural theories. So this is about how do we reinforce behaviour through consequences in the environment. So you've possibly heard of positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, punishment, extinction.
What's extinction?
Extinction. What we're looking at here is sort of Skinner's behavioural theories of reinforcement. So what we're essentially, we have this understanding that if we punish something, it's to stop somebody from doing it, to decrease the behaviour.
Yeah.
So we put in a negative consequence to stop somebody from doing something naughty. Okay, can you think of an example?
Okay, so yeah, my son's friend stole from the warehouse yesterday. So his punishment obviously is going to be a 2-year ban from the warehouse.
Good. Okay, 2-year ban from the warehouse because he stole from the warehouse. Good. Is that going to decrease his behaviour?
See,
It will from the warehouse.
From the warehouse,
But
but
will
if
he
there's
do
an
it?
opportunity to use the fact, yes, would he do it somewhere else?
Will they do it somewhere else? So it doesn't necessarily encourage maturity in terms of understanding what the appropriate behaviour would be and encouraging him to engage in the appropriate behaviour. Okay?
What do you call it? So the decreases behaviour and then encourages maturity and then goes into, what's that, extinction?
Extinction. So let's look at extinction. Extinction is essentially trying to decrease a behaviour by stopping previously positive results. Okay? So your kid throws a tantrum in the middle of the supermarket. Wow, screaming, shouting, whatever. You want, in an effort to shut them up and get out of there as quick as you can, you say, here, have this ice cream, let's go. Kid goes quiet.
No,
Okay, you've decreased the negative behaviour, okay, but you've
You actually told me
yeah.
We'll do that next time we go.
It encourages maturity.
Oh, hang on.
Encourages manipulation.
Have I got that the wrong way around? I might have got that the wrong way around.
Oh.
Negative reinforcement, because I get them muddled up too sometimes. Extinction involves decreasing behaviour by stopping previously positive results from it. Oh, so what happens next time you're in the supermarket? No, I've got it the right way. What happens next time you're in the supermarket with a kid?
No,
He's gonna throw
They do it again because they get an ice cream out of it.
So
So they're getting they're getting something positive.
Reinforce the
As a
negative
result,
behaviour.
they're reinforcing that negative behaviour.
So
if we stop giving them that ice cream, if we stop, then the behaviour will become extinct. Okay? If they stop, and it's not about getting an ice cream, it's about getting attention, usually, with a tantrum. If you stop giving attention to a tantrum, then the behaviour will become extinct.
So it's stopping positive reinforcements for negative behaviour.
So the example they use, okay, that we've got somebody who always clowns around in a staff meeting, everybody laughs at them, it's really inappropriate, it's distracting from the meeting, it's stopping work from getting done, everybody's annoyed about it, but because people are laughing, he's still getting the attention he wants for it, so he carries on doing it. Okay, if people stop laughing, we stop reinforcing that behaviour, and so the behaviour becomes extinct.
I'm cycling with some of my goals at home.
Yeah. This is classic behaviour management for kids. So
What about ones with?
Don't no.
Don't go there tonight.
Modify it.
Yeah, no, I don't know how this stuff all applies when it gets to really challenging stuff, but yeah. The effect of this is basic psychology stuff though. This is what I did in my undergraduate degree up at University of Waikato. We had a hen in a cage and we called it Gwaldor, and he's pecking the key and gets food every time pecks the key. So we can encourage that behaviour by giving food to that hen in a cage, basically. So that's positive reinforcement. Yeah. As soon as we stop giving the food, eventually they will stop pecking the key. So the behaviour will become extinct.
Would it not change and do something else? Like, my kids would.
Your kids would.
Yeah.
Kids are more
Would
clever.
change
Kids are a bit smarter
and
than
do
hens.
something else
Yeah.
to make you do that again?
Yeah, maybe.
Did you not try that?
Just Paul
Psychology,
finished.
did you not give that a go?
Did not Paul finish
I
that?
didn't. I didn't pay attention to whether the hen was trying to talk to me or see me or whatever. So positive reinforcement is essentially something that increases the desired behaviour. So we're increasing, we're giving some kind of recognition. So if you want kids to behave quietly and calmly and nicely in the supermarket, you acknowledge them when they are behaving calmly and quietly and nicely in the supermarket. So you give them attention for that behaviour rather than attending to them only when they're having a meltdown. Okay? That's the difference. We actually need to reinforce the good behaviour. We have to catch them doing good stuff. I know that this is easy I don't know your children, obviously. But the same applies at work, if you're at work and you're getting recognition and reinforcement for the good stuff, that's going to
It's going to be a
encourage
good
you to continue
motivator.
Make you
doing
feel
those
good.
things.
Yeah.
If you're only getting punished when you do something wrong,
Who
how
wants
are
to
you
be
going to
there?
feel about
Yeah.
it? If it's only that, okay, you've done something wrong, so you get your hand slapped, or you get a written warning or a verbal warning or whatever because you've done something wrong. If that's all you get, is you only get recognition when you're doing something wrong, that's not going to motivate you to do desired. It's going to make you bitter and twisted, and you're not going to engage in the positive behaviours that we're trying to get to. Okay. Negative reinforcement is the one where we're trying to increase the desired behaviour, but by presenting a noxious or unpleasant stimuli so that a person will display the desired behaviour to stop the stimuli. Okay, so
Give an
this
example there.
I have to get my hair around it. Okay, this one is so things like nagging and threatening behaviour.
Yes.
So I basically I will.
Familiar with that?
The negative reinforcer is, okay, I will nag you, nag until you do what it is you're
I get that
supposed to
every
do.
day.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's my daily
Oh my
life.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And one doesn't even have challenges.
okay. So yes, you will get your desired behaviour eventually, but it doesn't encourage that maturity for people to make a right decision for a good reason. You're making that decision for the wrong reasons. And we're only doing it to stop, your boss breathing down your neck the whole time, or standing over your shoulder watching your work. Yeah. Then you're not encouraging that personal responsibility to engage in what that means is that you're only going to do it when that's an environmental situation is happening. You're only going to do it. You're not going to take initiative and do the work unless somebody's nagging you. So we get learned incompetence that happens in this situation. People.
What learned behaviour?
I was going to say, my son's 5 and I think I've learned.
Yeah, if they'll only do something when you're nagging them, you've fallen into that trap. All already.
Yeah, I've been playing with my children, I think I'm the problem.
So I know some people who can help with this, obviously, but
Who are your husband?
yeah, that's his specialty. But you know, a lot of the situations, you know, with kids is about how do we use reinforcements, you know, punishments and so forth in positive ways to get kids to engage in the desired behaviours in a way that fosters their personal responsibility.
How would punishment encourage immaturity and decrease behaviour?
Because it doesn't, punishment will just stop you from doing the, you know, the negative behaviour, but it's going to it's not necessarily going to promote you taking personal responsibility for doing the desired behaviour, okay? You're only doing it to avoid that negative
Yes.
consequence. And
Right.
yeah, so, you know,
My situation, they just don't get it.
Need to do a bit of homework on that one.
Yeah. Read through that section of the text and hopefully it will become more clear. But with reinforcement theory, we do end up with different types of reinforcement schedules.
Yeah.
This is the crucial one for kids, okay?
Yeah.
Intermittent.
Me too.
I know we're talking about management, but whatever works for you, being able to apply it. Intermittent reinforcement is going to prolong that behaviour for much longer than if you can stop altogether, okay? Basically, fixed interval means that you might reinforce something every so many minutes, or every so many months, or every so many years, or whatever. So fixed interval means it's based on time. Okay, that means we reinforce based on a certain amount of time passing.
We are talking about positive, aren't we?
Yeah. Or it could be positive, or it could be negative.
Oh, okay.
Fixed ratio means that we reinforce based on every number of times that a behaviour has occurred.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so for a fixed interval, a plant manager visits one section of the warehouse every day at the same time, praising efforts to build product quality. Okay, so somebody visits, you know, every day to say, yes, you're doing a good job, great, keep it up. What happens when he stops visiting the plant?
Slack off.
The behaviour stops.
Yeah.
This is the problem. If we want to promote personal responsibility and maturity and longevity in the behaviours, then fixed interval isn't necessarily going to work. Fixed ratio means that he might pop by for every, you know, say it's reinforced on piecework, so a certain number of units produced. Every time you reach 1,000 units, the manager will come by and give some sort of recognition or reward. Okay? So fixed ratio means, you know,